Now we're going to be taking a deep dive all week into the issue of jobs and justice. And we thought we'd start out today by talking about unemployment. I'm going to take you to the first slide here and show you unemployment rates in July of 2014 hovered in the U.S. at about 6.2%. Now, we here in Brooklyn had a very bad distinction of outpacing the national rate with about 8% unemployment. Fast forward to July of 2016 and our numbers hovered right around 5%. And that's down 1.3% on the national average. But in Brooklyn, we also followed that downward trend, but still outpaced the nation by a full percent, with about 6% of unemployment. Now, if we take a deeper look at just who's unemployed, we're going to focus on youth unemployment right now. And in this case, youth refers to folks who are the ages of 20 to 24, those disaffected youth. You so often hear about folks who are in that space between school and work, and not really finding success, finding a job, or going to higher education. In New York City, about 20.1% of youth were unemployed. Now, if we go to a borough breakdown, Brooklyn in particular is only second to the Bronx. That rate is kind of astronomical with 28%, but Brooklyn was looking at about 22% youth unemployment on the 3-year average back in 2013. If we go forward just a little bit and look at unemployment in Brooklyn, we're going to take a deeper look at our neighborhoods. Brownsville was outpacing a lot of Brooklyn, with 29% of youth between 20 and 24 being unemployed. Flatbush and Coney Island, Crown Heights followed very closely behind, all these hovering somewhere near the 30% number. But if you look down at the bottom at the Williamsburg, Greenpoint area, they happen to be the area that was doing better than most, with only about 10% of youth unemployment. So that's a look at some of the numbers as they stand right now for unemployment in Brooklyn when it comes to youth. We're going to take a deeper look at that in the A block.
According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, September unemployment rates for youth aged 16 to 24 were double the national average, and as Brian's just shown us, Brooklyn is no different. But 3 local groups are working to move our young people closer to jobs and job security. OBT, Opportunities for a Better Tomorrow, sets out to train and support at-risk youth and adults. Brooklyn's chapter of NPower, a national organization, helps students build their technology skills for success in professional environments. And since 2000, the Brooklyn Job Corps has been guiding youth to further their education and land purposeful jobs.
That's right, and we're happy to welcome difference makers from all these organizations to BK Live today. Evelyn Ortiz is the Director of Government Affairs and Community Partnerships at OBT. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Good. We're also happy to welcome Helen Kogan. She's the Program Manager of Brooklyn's Technology Service Corps, NPower. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here representing NPower.
Good. NPower. Read what's on the prompter, kid. And thanks for joining us. We also want to welcome Lyndell Pittman, the Executive Director of the Brooklyn Job Corps Center. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, well, the theme of this week is jobs. Specifically, let's talk about youth. Can you tell me about your organization and what you're most proud of regarding your organization in terms of youth employment and development?
Of course. So we work, as you mentioned before, we work with young adults who are 17 to 24 years old who are not in school or working. So they're what are called now the Opportunity youth population, what used to be called the disconnected youth population. And I think what makes us proud is to see a young adult come in through our doors, and it's unfortunate that they're coming in hopeless and discouraged, but to see them transformed once they leave, right? To see the success and to know that they're leaving with hard skills. They're leaving also with, like develop soft skills where they can speak to someone and feel confident in what they're saying and knowing that, hey, I can actually get a full-time job out of this, go to college and really contribute to my home, right? That makes everyone, not just, not just myself, but our entire staff, it feeds on, to them.
Yeah, I was just looking at your website last night, and it was saying that 186,000 youth aged 16 to 24, that's
In New York City. Yes, that is correct. And as you saw, most of them coming from Brooklyn and the Bronx, and primarily in the areas that we serve. So where we have our locations, we have 6 locations in Brooklyn, and we're located in most of those high rate areas.
So Helen, working with NPower, what do you see as the main bars to young people finding jobs or really just breaking into getting their first thing?
I think disenchantment is one of them. We had just been talking in the green room about the young adults that we serve historically look for jobs to survive. It could be retail, it could be food services, babysitting. A lot of them don't realize that what they love tinkering with, which is technology in our case, is something they can make a career out of. And for us, part of the challenge in the program is giving them the long-term vision of this will not just lead you to a job. This will lead to viable employment, a pipeline to an amazing career, and really opportunities that I don't think they imagine before they start the program.
Okay. Bringing into conversation, Lyndell, please.
Thank you. Well, working for Job Corps is an experience in and of itself. Working with the same population as both groups, we try to focus on dealing with the entire young person. Sometimes we get students that come in that are broken, but not all the students that we serve are broken students. We do oftentimes see students that come in with college degrees that simply can't find employment because of lack of, maybe it's employability skills, or sometimes that age-old thing, I went to college, and they say you go to college and get a job, but then you get out of college and say you don't have any experience. So, so working at Job Corps is an experience in of itself, and dealing with the young people that we serve. One of the things that we try to do, we have this thing at Rest Care, which is a contracting company I work for through Job Corps, is we make magic. We focus on having the students either go to military. We work on getting them at advanced training, because Job Corps offers additional programming for students. Once they've completed their program, they can go to the other centers. We send students way to California to go to culinary arts, specified programs in culinary arts. We work on with them and get jobs, or we can send them to college. Our students can go to college through the program. Job Corps offers the students 2 years to be in the program, but if they go into advanced training process or go to college, we offer them an additional year, and we support those efforts in the program. Oftentimes, like what many have seen in the community with the young people, one of the things that is often the most difficult is getting young people to commit. We have students that come in and they have commitment issues, because simply because of their own stuff, but because they've worked in been in environments where people have really committed to them. You know, they're going through a school system that is, you know, they have people tell you, well, we're going to support you, we're going to help you through the process, but one mistake and then they're banished, or they're put in a sector of students that are not getting the support that they need. So we pride ourselves. One of the things that we most pride ourselves in, not only do we work with the students every day to help them to meet their own goals, but we learn from them. You know, I feel one of the things that as a center director at the Brooklyn Job Corps, what I do is I learn every single day from someone, and it helps me to grow.
You know, I have to ask, is it more, statistically, is it more difficult now to get a job for this age group than it was maybe 10 years ago? And what are some of the, challenges and hurdles that this generation faces that, we might not have faced during that time?
Technology.
Yeah.
All across technology.
They don't know how to communicate. The young people come in and they have no social skills. They don't know how to communicate with one another, because what they do is they text all day. We had a conversation in the workplace a couple of weeks ago about, I remember taking a typing class.
Yes.
And now you see the students on the computers and they're using one finger because they didn't take those things. But
at the same time, you guys use technology as a point of entry to get young people, like you said, like you think that you're cute with texting, but you can make a career out of social media or all these things that you don't know even are a job.
But in the business world, they still need to communicate with higher-ups, with their peers, in a much more professional way. Right. And I think what we sometimes see is not so much the tech piece that's missing. Our young people are very savvy in technology. It's the soft skills, the professional development skills, how to dress for an interview, how to have a polished resume. We interview students for our program that don't do research on our program, and I ask them, what do you know about NPower? Not much. Why do you want to be here? Well, my teacher said it would be a great program. And we teach them to never do that again. And I will tell them, when you work with us, if you come and do our program and are successful at it, you will know that you will research any organization that you will ever go to. And our students, they don't just come out with the hard skills, which is the tech skills, and they're very savvy. They do get a CompTIA A+ certification in the 22-week program. They do get a paid internship with NPower, but they also come out with tremendous, tremendous professional development skills. And as an anecdote, and I imagine that the folks at the table have heard this as well, we've worked with organizations that, let's say, Fortune 50 companies that do presentations to high schools, colleges, and organizations like ours. And I am told all the time that I present to colleges, and the population that you service are much more polished.
Yes.
They're dressed in suits. They look like $1 million because we prep them for that. So organizations like ours, even if you have somebody who's in college, we're an amazing stepping stone or bridge between the young world, the green world, and the much more professional world.
One of the things, and actually I'm glad that you mentioned that, our young adults, specifically the 17 to 24 population, that are not in school or working, it's harder for them, to find employment at this time compared to the past, mainly because, there's more competition than there was before. Specifically with the number, there's a huge wave of, as much as we're saying, hey, not enough people are going to college, but there are, right? There's a lot of young people that are going in to the higher educational system, and, what we're noticing is that when they do leave, they're not finding those type of jobs that they thought that they would get, right? So those jobs where, hey, they're making over $45,000 a year or so. And, our young adults, we're preparing them for administrative entry-level positions for the most part in, companies like in the tech field, in like healthcare. But one of the things that I've noticed is that a lot of young adults that are graduating with their bachelors are not competing for these like $15, $20 an hour jobs. Exactly. So those are some of the challenges that they're being confronted with. But thankfully, like Helen had noted, is that we're preparing them so that they could have a competitive advantage, right? So that they're more prepared, their soft skills are intact, right? We've come across some young adults, and I'm sure you have as well, that have their college degrees, but guess what? That's all they have. They're at an interview, their phones are going off, right? And they're not engaged, they forget their resume, they're not prepared whatsoever, and that's where we have to come along and strengthen those skills so that when they do go to the interview, the employer would opt for our youth versus maybe someone that does have a degree, right? So that would be the idea in terms of our perspective.
One of the things, take it back, the conversation back to technology. There's the big thing about the use of technology is understanding appropriateness and timing. Okay. We've all experienced it. You go into a supermarket and the young person that is ringing you up at the register has taken the time, there's 4 people in line and you're trying to get out of the store, and they're responding to text. Understanding the appropriate time. And one of the things that we do at Job Corps, we talk to the students about appropriateness and understanding. I often tell them that to who much is given, much expected. And I expect a lot of my students because we give a lot to them. Our students, they come in, we give them, there's nothing that they need for the program. We give them everything to from transportation, we feed them, we provide them with uniforms to be appropriately dressed for the training program. But in addition to that, upon preparation to complete the program, we take the students shopping for appropriate work-related clothing. So everything is provided for them, so there's no excuse not to be successful in the programs such as Job Corps. But when we look at the tradition of what is happening throughout the programs is that you have young people that are starting stuff and not finishing, because we oftentimes will see people that come into our program and you ask them, where you were, what did you before, and they were, they've done 4 or 5 programs prior. So the whole thing about commitment. But the problem with people not researching is not just with our young adults. We have the same people with adults. I get people that come in and interview and they know nothing about the company and what we do, and I'm saying to myself, you're sitting here with a cell phone in your lap, and I know you have access to the internet. So it's the same thing. So we're teaching those behaviors. They're mocking and mimicking the behaviors that they see in us.
Okay. Now, I also just want to ask, and we're sort of running out of time here, if we can just go around the table real quick. How can people send young adults to your organizations? How can people volunteer? How can people support We can just go around the table.
Yeah, of course. So the best way is to go to our website, so obtjobs.org, and on the website you can actually apply right online. Like you can submit an inquiry, and we'll get access to that. If you know a young adult that's not in school or working, that has maybe gone to college, started maybe they did 2 years, and they unfortunately something happened along the way, academically, emotionally. They're more than welcome to come. If they have graduated high school and don't have a plan, don't know what's next, or they're struggling while in school right now and they're on the brink of not graduating, we welcome them because we do provide them the high school equivalency diploma through the Department of Education. We partner with District 79. So, community groups, schools, anyone that has access to young people that you're a community activist and you want to refer them over, you can go to our website, or you can, on our website, you have a number of different locations throughout Brooklyn and Queens that they can actually come to and apply right on.
Okay. Well, of course, we serve the same population, 16 to 24. Traditionally, at the Brooklyn Job Corps Center, we serve students between the age 17 and a half to 24, simply because of the partnership that we have with the Department of Education. And additionally, many of the trades that we have, which are in areas nursing, security, culinary arts, as well as IT. In order to be certified in those trades, often you need to be 18 years of age. So if a student is, or a parent is interested in getting a young person into our program, because oftentimes we have people that are sitting around, they don't know that they're ready to do something, but their parents know that they're ready to do something. Simply, you can go into jobcorps.org, or you can contact the center. The center can be reached at 718-623-4000 or 4001 to contact our outreach department directly. I will say that we offer a lot to the students at the Brooklyn Job Corps Center. Any student that is serious about getting their lives together, they can come into the center. If you come by on Wednesdays, you might find us down the street at the local community church. We do Feed the Homeless program and work with the. We do come. We're here. We're there. Okay. So we're there for the community.
And finally, Helen, please.
So if you're interested in NPower, we're a tech company, so please apply online at our website.
You have a lot of volunteers, too.
A lot of volunteers. NPower.org, we serve young adults ages 18 to 25. Minimum of a high school diploma or equivalent, and they have to be legally able to work in the United States because we're about workforce development.